Ladies and gentlemen, we're back with another episode of the Double Bogey Show, episode 209.
How do you know that off the top of the dome?
I remember because, I mean, we spend a couple minutes each week trying to figure out what episode we're on, so I just think of what we were arguing about last week.
You get ahead of it.
And apply it to this week. So 209.
Well, I got news for you, Ryan.
It's not 209.
It's 208.
Damn it! Okay,
See,
well.
Between You Bet Your Radio, Patreon, Bellied Up, and this podcast, I have 4 different podcast episode numbers in my head, and I never know which one's which.
I mean,
I published You Bet Your Radio last night, and I originally had episode 142 on there. That's Patreon.
Yeah, and I mean, combined, we've
been doing it for 4 years.
Yeah,
We're way farther than that.
Yeah.
Whoa.
We've done over 600 episodes combined with everything else that we've done.
Oh, at least
600, 700, 800,
yeah, we're
maybe
at
1,000.
We're encroaching episode 300 on You Bet Your Radio. So then you stack on another 140. So we're at 440. What are we on here? We're at 208. So now we're at 600 and some change. And then Bellied Up is on episode 100 and something.
Jesus.
Think about how many episodes your kids are gonna have to catch up on when they're old enough to listen to Dad talking on.
I know.
I think about that more, and it makes me want to say less stupid stuff.
I know.
Tell them to skip the first 150 episodes.
Stop saying fuck so often. But
yeah. My grandma did tell me, she told me last week that we cuss a little bit too much on here.
Yeah.
And I actually don't think she's ever cussed in her entire life.
It's probably me, dude. I know I got a sailor's mouth.
Oh, I do too, Tyler. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like don't short play yourself.
It's such a fucking effective word.
It is. Well, and it also it's very it puts a lot of emphasis on something, and it also puts a lot of passion into something.
It does. It shows that I care.
When you're passionate about your golf game, it's like that's why you drop so many F-bombs.
I drop a lot of bad words on the golf course.
Speaking of F-bombs, we are presented by the one and only Russell Nicolay. I was trying to think of a word that started with F related to personal injury lawyers. And the man.
Fuck, I'm hurt.
Yeah, there we go. Speaking of F words, fuck, I got injured at work. And you've come to the right spot because we are presented by Nicolay Law.
We
man
are.
in the Midwest. Russell Nicolay. Had him on a couple weeks ago. Was able to answer some burning questions that we had.
Speaking of answering burning questions, he's back to answer another burning question. Russell, take it away. Our next question is from Owen Gillot. If I crash a golf cart but didn't have to sign a waiver, am I liable?
So I think generally you sign a waiver to release someone from being responsible, and those are in many states in the Midwest. Those are kind of frowned upon because they allow people to engage in dangerous behavior. So whether or not it'd be enforceable, so this one, I'm assuming he just means the property damage. If he crashes the golf cart, is he responsible for the damage to that property, golf cart?
Yeah, I'd assume that's what he means.
Yeah, and I think he would be. I can't imagine that the golf, the course would give him a waiver that says, hey, if you crash our golf carts, you're not responsible. The waiver, I would assume, would usually be the other way, which would be hey, you realize you're on our golf course. If you get hurt, you're waiving your ability to sue us because you know how to drive this cart. You're going to take responsibility. I think to answer his question, if he crashes the golf cart, he's going to be responsible for the damage to that golf cart. Now, obviously, if it was something on the course that was a problem with the course that caused him to crash, that would be a different argument. But I think just smashing the golf cart into something, you're probably going to end up having to pay the golf course for that.
Yeah, and I feel like even if you don't sign a waiver, the keys are in the carts, right? You pay for your cart and you just head on out. Am I right in saying you assume the liability that if this does happen, then you're gonna you'll have to shell out some cash?
Yeah, I mean the better way is I guess if he wanted to try to accomplish what he was talking about, the better thing would be for him to go to the golf course, some authority there, and be like, hey, I have this waiver for you to sign because I'm playing on your course. I'm gonna drive this cart. And okay. I might crash it because that's just how I roll.
Yeah.
You understand that I need you to sign this waiver that you will hold me harmless if I do crash it.
I'm feeling
because that's just how I drive, and I'm warning you.
Yeah, I'm feeling dangerous today.
And I think 9 out of 10, 99 out of 100 courses would be like, get the hell out of here.
Right. They're going to tell you, yeah, it's time to leave. But, you could try that, like, reverse Uno card, right? Like, when they give him the waiver, it hands him the reverse Uno card and gives him the waiver, a different waiver for them, like, waiving what he may or may not do with that golf course card.
See, this is the stuff that I'm glad we're getting clarified. Last week we did how to actually make a golf bet legit.
Which I'm going to be serving you papers before our next Arizona trip.
Okay. Did I not pay up on?
No. I'm going to be serving you a contract. It just sounds way cooler when I say serving you papers. I know that typically means I'm taking you to court, but I'm just literally going to serve you a stack of papers to sign, so we have a binding contract.
Yeah. What?
Make sure you read the fine print.
Would you like? Do you think you could?
Over.
Do you think you could ever do that job of serving like divorce papers or anything like that?
No, I mean I could probably do divorce papers. I don't think I could do like some of the. I don't know, maybe not.
It'd be very sad.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be terrible because, like, it's not like they can ask you questions about it. It's like, I was just told to give you these papers and make sure that you clarify your name to me, so I'm serving the correct person the right papers, and then you're in the clear. Mm-hmm. You could walk away from there.
I know, but it's still like, ugh.
I know. It'd be
You're just
tough.
you're ruining someone's day.
Some people get real creative with that too. Dress up as like a UPS man.
Do you think
Yeah.
that's true, or is that just the movies?
Could just be the
That'll have to
movies.
be the next question for Russell when he's on. Like, when people get served, is it actually some undercover private eye guy that's like handing them out?
I mean, I feel like you have to be creative to an extent. Now, I feel like back in the day, a lot of movies, like, for some reason, serving the papers was a scene in a decent amount of movies.
It was.
And now you don't see it anywhere. So I
People
guess I
just
don't
get
even.
a call.
People, yeah, they just get a fucking email.
Yeah.
So-
Anyway, if you ever get injured at work, you know who to call.
You know what to call?
Russell Nicolay.
Fear the beard, baby.
NicolayLaw.com.
You had talked about Arizona golf trips. I feel like right now is it's like the perfect time where people start at least getting the thought of going on a golf trip in their head.
At this stage right now, at this point in the year is now when you re-bring up the group text that you started in May.
Yes.
About the golf trip. You guys haven't said a word about it since May, and now you just send out another feeler like, were we serious about that? And then you start to get the wheels moving.
Yeah, and it usually, like, the new golf trip group chat usually stems from your, like, summertime golf group chat, to where, let's say we got 4 guys in the summertime group chat. One guy can't make it, so, on the Arizona trip, for instance. Now you have to start a new group chat so that buddy who couldn't make it doesn't field all your texts and have to look at that bullshit.
Yep.
And I feel like over time you could have like 10, 12, 15 different golf group chats of like, oh, this one was from 2021 Arizona when fucking Jimbo. we needed a fourth, so we didn't get paired with a random for the 6 rounds we scheduled. So threw Jimbo on the plane, and he came and had time with the boys.
Yeah, you know what's a weird thing I just thought of while you were saying that? I've never been on a golf trip with the same exact group more than once. Ever. Unless you count me and Grandpa going to Brainerd. Which maybe you count it.
I don't think I have either.
Like, there's always been at least one different person.
I could say that about ice fishing. Like, usually if we go on an ice fishing trip, we make sure we can plan the weekend where everybody can.
And it's the same group, you're saying.
It's the same
group.
Yep,
yes. Totally.
But golf is different. I don't know. It's probably because you have to travel a little bit farther. Like, if we went on an ice fishing trip, we could,
But, like, I know groups of friends that it's the same 4 guys every single year, or at least as many years as they can. But I've never done it. I've never had the same group more than once. Like, even the Myrtle Beach trips, which is the same tournament, different crew each time. Grandpa Dave's my one constant.
Yeah.
He's my rock.
That's the guy you want there.
Yeah.
Though. If anyone listening to the episode today, like, if you have a consistent same group golf trip of, like, let's say 4, 8, 12 guys, what's it like to be in a group like that.
Yeah, you got to have nothing going on.
You're either
You got to all be single.
Yeah, you're lower mid 20s, single, or you make it happen no matter what life is thrown at you at that time.
Yeah, I would actually be very curious if I am in the minority or the majority here. I feel like I'm more common than not.
Dude, I have some golfing buddies. They're probably like 6 or 7 down on the list of like people to call if you can't fill a foursome. Yeah. They're getting like 20 plus guys.
How?
To go to Brainerd and play Friday, Saturday, and maybe one quick one on Sunday.
For not like a bachelor party?
Just for a yearly golf trip.
Jesus Christ.
Like, how are people getting even more than 12 guys together to go on a multiple day golf trip?
I don't know 20 people's last names.
Like my estate attorney, when he crunched his foot at the gravel pit, he was with 20 plus guys on that trip. Now, I don't know if it's like a bunch of businessmen who are like, it's a write-off for the company. Like you talk a little business here and there, and it makes it worth it. But I don't know how you can get that many people in the same location at our age right now.
For something that isn't a wedding.
Correct.
A wedding or a funeral.
Yeah.
Yep. Damn, dude. Well, good on them. Good on them. I don't remember where we were going with this.
Well, where I was going to go with it was I did play golf this last Saturday.
Oh.
Got out to the country club again. Hopped in the cart with Miles, and then we had another buddy of ours, Russ. Quick little threesome.
His nickname is Jesus Christ Russell.
Yeah, right. Great guy to golf.
He is phenomenal, dude.
Super
when you talk about vibes guy,
yes,
it's him. Not Russell Nicolay, also a vibes guy. Different Russell, just to be clear.
And like when Russ is the type of guy who will shit on his own golf game before somebody else shits on his golf game.
That's such a good move too. You get ahead of it.
100%.
Like if you hit a bad shot, you'd be like, I don't know. I can think of something in the moment, but maybe I should have 4 right there.
Yeah, you would think that I would take the time to fix my 90-yard slice across the fairway, but I guess if it's working today, it's just going to work today. It ain't going to work tomorrow.
Line up perpendicular on the box. Like maybe I got to line up like this from now on.
Yeah. Russ is he's a huge vibes guy, and we needed that for Saturday because at this course, there is not a single tree. Like, there's not a single tree that really affects how the course is played.
I would say
it's water.
There are probably 40 trees there, all in one spot.
Yeah, and
they don't affect play whatsoever.
Correct. I'm confident in saying I've never hit a tree with a golf shot on this course.
I have. I hit that one clump before.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So for that to paint the picture a little bit, we're dealing with water here, and also we're dealing with fucking wind every single day. Like if you don't get a day of wind that is like 5 to 10 miles an hour, and you're not playing in the early morning when it's a little more settled down, this can become a massive factor. So what we also did with this round is we did the same thing last year. We decided to play the very front tees, which this was decided on the drive up to hole number 1. We're like, shit. Like, okay, so silvers is the front tees at this course. And I want to say it chops like 1,200 yards off the entire course.
Holy shit.
So a lot of the water hazards that you would,
you're hitting over off the tee box are gone.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Now you're just hitting like straight into the green. Now, last year's round, I think I shot 80 last year's round.
Playing from the fronts. What do you call them? Is it
the fronts?
Because but I feel like doesn't tip feel like it should mean the front? Like I'm playing tips today. Feels like it should be the front.
Well, I think the
tip
is like the
base.
The longest. Okay. If we're like making dick references, then
no. But just like think about a pencil. You would consider the tip of the pencil the front, and the back of the pencil the eraser.
I don't really know how to process that correctly. We're just gonna call them.
So tips feel like we should be calling the front tees the tips. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. This is my brain working overtime. Next. You're playing the fronts.
We're playing the fronts. And I think I shot 80 last year when we played from the fronts. It would have been such a great round, and it was, had there not been 30-mile-an-hour winds.
Ugh.
Now, when I say 30-mile-an-hour winds, a 30-mile-an-hour wind at this course will affect the line that you're putting on. It'll
no
affect
kidding.
the amount of brake. It'll affect the amount of speed. It will affect everything. And
Also, those greens there too
they're tough.
they're fast.
Yeah, I mean,
so the wind even actually affects your putts. I totally believe you.
It's one of those things where you go out, and because we're playing the front tees, it's like, all right, we're just gonna go out and see what can happen with this round. Like, we're just gonna have fun with it. We're gonna try and hit like some greens on some par fours, because there's a couple like 270, 280, and if you get the wind at your back, it's great. If you get the wind in your face, like. We're talking driver will get you, like a well-struck driver will get you 220
Damn.
yards from the tees.
So were you trying to stinger 5-irons into the wind, or what were you doing?
I was trying. I mean, that's the other thing too. Is like, hey, if we're just gonna fuck around and play from the fronts, then we're gonna just like experiment with different shots. It's gonna be it'll be a very enjoyable round. But then obviously you get up to the greens, and it's like the amount of there was 3 straight holes. I had 3 putts. I had 9 putts in 3 holes.
Jesus.
And that started on hole number 2. 2, 3, 4, all 3 putts. I think I shot 46 on the front.
No bueno for 3-putt poker.
And then, no, terrible for 3-putt poker. Also, get this. Par 3s were the toughest part of this round. It was like, if you had a 180-yard par 3 straight into the wind, you damn near had to hit a fucking 3-wood just to have any chance of getting it.
So, okay,
getting
question,
it there.
what par 3 is 180 yards from the front tees?
Like, what is it, number 12 or 13 is like, from where we usually play, the whites or blues or whatever, it's like 220.
No shit?
So the front,
Is that the one over the pond?
And it also depends on the pin location too.
The over the pond one that's like there's no fairway whatsoever. It's all water.
Nope. This is on the back 9. It's number 10, 11. It's number 12.
Okay.
Anyway,
lost.
Hole number 17 is from the front tees is a one where the pin is at in the front. It's a 115-yard par 3. I hit a 9-iron off the tee, which a 9-iron for me is usually like it's a good 145.
Okay.
I hit the best struck 9-iron that I have maybe hit all season. And you guys, I am 35 to 40 yards short of the green. Not even the pin, of the green. So I'm like, okay, well,
You just keep your 9-iron in your hand for your approach shot?
Yeah, I guess I'm going to hit a fucking 9-iron for 35 yards in. So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to hit another one just for fun, just to see like what club this actually is. I hit an 8-iron, and I am about 10 yards, 15 yards short. So then I hit a 7-iron from 115 yards, and I end up landing in the bunker. Pin high with a 7-iron from 115 yards.
Jesus, dude.
So-
That's nuts, because I've said this on the podcast a million times. But my 7-iron is my bread and butter, my Mr. Consistent, and that goes 190 for me. I can't imagine hitting that. I would feel uncomfortable, even with the winds in my face, having that in my hand, staring down 115 yards.
Well, and especially being a guy who is already inconsistent with ball striking, and I already have a tough enough time like picking the right club that's going to get me to the pin or whatever part of the green I want to get to. Now you throw 30-mile-an-hour winds on, like, my mind was in such a pretzel at this point.
Yeah, I
of
believe
like,
it.
At this point, I don't even know what to do.
So, like, do you think you go 5-iron punch shot would have done better in that scenario? Because obviously, guessing the club didn't matter with the wind.
But then, then if you're able to like cut your ball through the wind, I mean, am I going to be 40 yards long?
That's true. I mean, Mother Nature undefeated.
I have no idea. Playing from the front tees, I know I said this last year, but if you can get a good day to play from the front tees, it's definitely something that every golfer has to try out.
Okay. I still haven't done it, but it does sound super fun.
It completely changes the game and how you approach. It's like 90% of the holes, I mean, outside of the par fives, is going to be a driver wedge. And it's like driver. Even if you miss with your driver, you're going to have like maybe 50 yards into the green on like some shorter par fours, 280, 300 yards, whatever. Playing from the front tees is a great time. Now, playing from the front tees with 30-mile-an-hour winds is a fucking terrible time.
Would it have been worse playing from the whites with the wind? Or would you have felt like... Because I feel like you probably felt worse because you are expecting good results being at the front.
Correct.
If you were playing whites and with that crazy wind and he didn't play as well, I feel like you would have felt not as bad.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, that you couldn't have put it any better.
Okay.
Because it's like, oh, we have this advantage now of playing, 1,200 yards shorter through 18 holes.
So your expectations are through the roof.
Correct. It obviously didn't help that the wind was affecting our putts and our short game was just dog shit that day. So, I mean, it's a great way to expose your short game, but also like if it's the type of day where your mid irons are your clubs you want in your hand, you don't get a chance to hit them. And if you do, if you decided to hit one off the tee, it's like then you're going to have 200 plus yards in, especially if the wind's in your face.
Yeah, honestly, I think my game, I might have had you guys. My low stinger
for sure.
bullshit that I've been doing lately.
The rollout on your shots would have been unreal.
I think I was born to play in 30-mile-an-hour wind links courses because my balls right now are not getting more than 10 yards off the ground.
No,
so
your balls are only like a yard and a half off the ground.
Some,
right now.
Not all of them. Some of them.
Like your actual physical balls.
True, they hang low.
Got that,
I'm getting old, dude.
Got that dad
dad
sack. Got that dad sack on.
Hey, this is another instance where we say shit and I think about my kids listening to it.
I know.
Dude, your dad's got old balls, buddy.
Yeah, I'm probably like I won't allow my kid to download any podcast.
Dude, they won't listen to this for like 15 years.
I know. And then their friends at school are going to be like, dude, did you hear?
Your dad's got old balls.
Did you hear the crazy shit your dad was saying on the show the other? It's like, hey, I will slip you $20 to not tell my kid that.
It'd be like, my kid will go up to be like, hey, Ryan's kid, did you hear your dad smoked 21 cigarettes on the golf course?
God. But then like.
And then your son will be like, hey, Tyler's kid, did you hear your dad threw up on the golf course? It's like, fuck, dude.
And then I'll like train my kid to be like, well, yeah, I did. Did you hear that your dad's a pussy?
Your dad shot a 90 from the front tees?
Hell yeah. There's always a way around it.
Maybe we'll just delete the podcast when they turn 15.
Yeah, we'll consider it.
You guys have 11 years to listen to all the episodes, and then we're cutting it off.
Yeah, we maybe just start like let's say after episode 300.
Start delete episode 1.
Yeah. Every new episode
like
is a delete
scale.
of the last one.
Yep.
But Saturday's round, what got me thinking about different things with just the type of round that we were dealing with. I was like, how do you turn this thing around a little bit? How do you take a shitty day, and not a shitty day, the sun was shining, it was just the wind is like, wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't for the wind. So in my mind, I was trying to think, what are the top 3 contributors to an enjoyable round of golf?
I love that question, and I think we should answer it after a break.
Ooh, a little suspense. Okay. Get your top 3 written down. We're going to come right back, and we'll lay them all out. All right. Hopefully you guys prepped up for this one. I feel like I'm always looking for new ways on how to, like when things start going south, I'm looking at different ways on how I can go north.
Yeah.
North being up.
Yes.
Did that analogy hit?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, north is for sure up on a map.
But in terms of like golf trip, I'm trying to go south. I'm not trying to go north.
Unless it's midsummer and you go into Canadian course.
That's true.
But taking a golf trip in the summer when you live in the Midwest is fucking insane.
Unless you're just like going on vacation and plan to golf maybe 1 or 2 times.
But like think like you're right. Most of our golf trips are south. I don't want to go to Arizona in August.
No, God,
it's
no.
110 degrees.
Now, I understand like a group of guys going to like Brainerd
Yeah,
for a
for
golf
sure.
trip in the middle of summer. That's fine. I think if you have to get on a plane to go somewhere.
Yes, an aerial golf trip in the summer.
Yes, absolutely.
is nuts.
Insanity. All right, guys. Top 3 contributors to an enjoyable round of golf when things start to go south. My number 1 is if you're going to play shitty, it's so much better to play shitty together.
Yeah, you're totally right.
So, like, my round on Saturday, nobody was playing good. I mean, naturally, right? But even previous rounds on nice days, there have been days, it's weird how this happens, but whenever I golf with Miles, we always either play like above average together or really shitty together. And it's usually really shitty
Play
together.
to the level of your opponent. You're like the 2022 Vikings.
Oh, 100%. And it's like, if you're playing above average and your cart partner is playing shitty,
That sucks.
that's a bad recipe right there.
It is weird because almost like if you're playing really bad, the group playing shitty too makes the vibes get really high. It's so strange.
Yes.
Like the vibes are almost as equally high when you're all playing terrible as they are when you're all playing great.
I couldn't agree more with that.
It's like we suffer together so we thrive together type of thing.
And it's like, let's just have a good time playing shitty together.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a case of the fuck it's. Your mind is free.
Yes.
And then if someone in your group just sticks one, it's twice as exciting.
You're right. Yeah, after
Yep.
Because everybody's like, let's go, you're digging us out. Like,
Yep.
And then maybe everybody's play elevates a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
It's just that one shot that gets everybody fired up.
Dude, we got to
Couldn't be more
institute
right.
some rally cap type of vibes in
Yeah.
golf.
I mean, baseball's got all kinds of superstitions. Like they'll stack the hats on one guy's head. They'll do like the upside down rally cap. They'll do all kinds of stuff.
People say hits are contagious in baseball. Maybe good golf shots are contagious as well as shitty golf shots.
I mean, I think you're exactly right.
You're spot on with that.
If you're gonna play shitty together. If that means having to throw your entire round, like let's say even if you got fucking course record on your hands, your buddy's playing shitty, play shitty with him.
Dude, especially like if one dude's playing shitty, sometimes I actually feel guilty for playing good.
Because
Like,
there's
it
this
ruins their mood more.
yes.
Like if
The interactions in the cart become a little bit different because they're probably looking for someone to console them, and you're not trying to think about.
I'm looking for someone to high five me for my good shot, they're not
Yes.
there.
Yes, and I mean, if you can find an elite playing partner or cart partner that if they're playing shitty, they're trying to elevate you even more because they're kind of just out of the picture at that time. That's the guy that you want in your cart.
For sure. Find that dude. Make him your best friend.
Yes.
Golf marry him. One thing I think, this is so simple and so little. I think all my list is small and little things that can really enhance a round. Shade. Playing on a course where
Really?
you're constantly being crushed by the sun and the only escape from the shade is the inside of your cart, or the only escape from the sun is the inside of your cart, takes a hell of a lot out of you. Shaded tee boxes are an absolute blessing that I think go very underappreciated in the game of golf.
And I think by the end of this, I'll be fully on board. I'm partially on board right now. I think that like natural shade.
Yeah.
From
Well, I don't want them to put up an awning over the tee box.
And here's where I was going with that. I think like excess of trees on a tee box that is providing shade is awesome. I think when the clouds cover the sun, that's not the type of shade I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'd rather have the sun shining. I mean, because vitamin D can do a lot for a guy.
Hey, you know you do still get vitamin D even when it's cloudy.
Yeah,
It gets through the clouds.
Yep. So yeah, if it's a day like today, blue skies from where I'm looking out the window, not a cloud in the sky. I love that sun to be shining, but I also love to be able to find some shade via trees on the course.
I mean, and also there's an actual like scientific reason for this. The more you're in the sun, the more your body's working, the more tired you will be at the end of the round. So if you're getting shade and you're keeping your body cool, you will play better golf physically.
Ooh, I think that's been tested on Mythbusters too.
Yeah, the Mythbusters of Tyler's mind right now. I am 90% sure on that. I'm willing to argue on it. I don't have facts to back it up.
It'd be a tough one to win.
Yeah.
There's no facts to back it up.
Yep.
I'm
pretty sure I'm right. Someone can come at me and confirm or deny.
Personal experience.
I do truly, like, I have more fun playing wooded courses, even though I'm hitting trees and shit, because I'm not overheated. I'm not getting sunburnt. I'm not having to put sunscreen on. I just dig it more. And I think it enhances a round of golf when you have some shade.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something about the sound of a golf ball hitting a tree.
I can't do it.
It's like
that wasn't bad.
It's weirdly it's really frustrating, but it's weirdly satisfying.
It is.
It sucks though.
Yeah, when it's your buddy, it's cool.
Whatever.
Little giggle.
No, what do you got?
Mine's a little bit of a preventative versus something that actually happens on the course. This is kind of specific to morning or like early afternoon rounds. A pre-round coffee.
Of course.
Yes, you nailed it. I think if I would exclude the early afternoon. I don't think I'm drinking coffee afternoon.
Yeah,
I'm an afternoon coffee drinker.
If it in the fall, I'm with you. If it's a little crisp outside, I would drink an early afternoon coffee.
I think that is just a little bit of like a mood lifter.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're sipping on the coffee for the first 3, 4, 5 holes, you kind of have something to come back to.
Yeah.
And it's like your energy is kind of rising as you're going, and like regardless of how you're playing, you got that coffee in the cart waiting for you.
Dude,
just how you like it, however that is.
I think that applies just to life too.
Totally.
Like I am a happy camper up in my office when I'm sipping on coffee, but like the worst part of the day is when you take that last sip of coffee or you take that last sip of Celsius and you're like, fuck.
Well, now I just got to ride the rest of the day raw.
Yes. Yeah, that's a great feeling. I've actually been at courses before where they don't give you, like, if I buy a cup of coffee at the clubhouse, some of them don't come with lids.
Unreal.
Can I skip you on, because mine kind of correlates to Noah's.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to jump in. Another thing, it's, again, I think all mine are really small, minor things that enhance the game, but really good cup holders in your cart. Like, I've had some carts with just the worst cup holders that are either way too big or way too small, or they're just a little too big and your cup's rattling around and your shit spills out because you don't have a lid. It's a very sneaky thing to have a good cup holder, and also the right amount of cup holders. One for your drink, one for your phone, so you can look at 18 birdies propped up without having your phone on the seat like you do.
Yeah, I have my phone on the seat every single time. It's right in the middle of it'd be like the driver's seat, right, the driver's side's right ass cheek and the passenger's side's left ass cheek.
The amount of times I've sat on Ryan's phone when we're playing together, just because it'll like slide over.
You can't even count them all.
Nope.
Yeah, and like the thermos style like mugs, like the Yetis or whatever, they don't fit in any cart cup holder.
No, and then they'll try to get like a hybrid cup holder where the bottom is skinny so you can fit your little paper cup, and then the top is big, but then it's only an inch deep, so it just falls off the second you hit the gas.
Well, the top's too wide. I don't know, like the top part that juts out from the little part on the bottom. I don't know what type of cup that's designed for.
Like, why aren't golf cart cup holders just like the old early 2000s, 90s truck cup holders where you pulled it out and it had the thing that adjusts?
Those were the best.
Yeah, what happened to those?
I don't know.
Sad, dude. We need those in golf carts, though, ASAP.
Yeah, the cup holders, it's a weird situation. I usually, and like the skinny cans too, like the whatever. If you're drinking a seltzer, Celsius, I have to put a koozie around mine, like a 12-ounce can koozie around mine, just to create a little extra buffer even in the small cup.
Dude,
holder.
and the one thing that I've noticed because we've been buying packs of Gatorades at the house, and I'll bring those with me when I golf in the morning. The Gatorades do not fit in the small one by centimeters. So you have to, And the wide part of the cup holder is so wide there's no chance. So then you got to throw it in the glove box, and it is rattling and rolling around.
Yep.
And it like leak a little bit out of the cap, so it's all over my wallet. It's like, good, dude.
Yeah, why can't we put cup holders, like the slide-out cup holders, like down by the neutral, reverse, and forward lever?
I think it's another thing that golf carts should think about instituting is the center console.
Dude, yes. I 100% agree.
Like, I know some bougie golf carts have that, but like, it's not that hard to just have like a swing down one, right?
I 100% agree. Even something that like folds down onto the floor.
Yeah.
Yes. And who knows? Maybe there's like some lobbyists out there, like a group of lobbyists that are just, they're vouching for, like, you know, when I'm in the golf court, I like to sit in the very middle of it, and I like to drive with my left hand, like just my solo left hand out to the side. And I like to just sprawl out in the golf cart.
Do you really?
No, I'm saying there's a group of lobbyists out there that enjoy that. So it's like a center console would maybe eliminate being able to just absolutely sprawl in the golf cart.
If there's a person out there that exists like that, they might be the single lobbyist.
Probably. But what I mean, it seems like technology is increasing, and design is increasing. You see it with new pickups every single year. Like, how did they think to put this? It's like, hey, how about golf cart innovation?
Dude, they haven't changed. They really haven't.
It's been the screen.
That's it.
They've just added the screen.
The screen, the cup holders. I mean, quantity changes. The style never changes.
Yeah. Yep. Let's get a center console.
Yeah. Okay. Next.
For my next one, having something planned after the round. Like, the round is just a precursor to the event that's happening afterwards. Is number one, it's a great talking point, and number two, it's something that can just take your mind off of your game for that day.
Dude, it totally changes the vibe of the last two holes.
I agree. And
the end isn't coming. The next thing is coming.
Correct. It's something to look forward to.
Yep.
It's like I don't look forward to holes 17 and 18 because I know the round's almost over.
Right. Like, when I'm with my buddies and I get to, typically it's only 9, and I get to 8 and 9, I'm thinking about, like, all right, well, I got to get home at this time, or I'm going to be home around this time. I should text my wife. And it's not a bummer, but it does change the vibe. You're like, fuck, I'm done for the day.
Well, yeah, when you're all in the parking lot putting your bags in the back of your truck or whatever, and everyone kind of looks at each other, and you're like, all right, well, like, we'll see you in a little bit. It's like, yep, I'll be there.
It's like a teeny tiny little bit of the Paul Walker, Vin Diesel driving away from each other feeling.
Yes. Just to come right back together within the next half hour.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah, I don't know, it gives you something to look forward to. Also, like, what a better scenario to be able to talk about your round with the buddies you just played with at the next event.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to find people who care about how good or bad you golfed, and you're going to go grab drinks and food with the 3 guys who do care about it.
You're totally right. You get to just unload all of the things you were thinking about on the course to someone who wants to hear it. And, like, my wife pretends to want to hear it, but she's just being a good wife. I know she doesn't really care.
I think what makes a shitty round even shittier is when you have to go straight home and try and tell your wife how shitty it was when you know she doesn't care, but she's being a good wife and she's listening anyways. Like, I'm going to be able to scrap that from my mind if I'm going out with my buddies, or like even going out with my buddies and then like our wives are meeting up somewhere. Mm-hmm. When I can dissect how things went in a, let's say, a neutral location with the guys I just played with, it makes it like creates short-term memory loss as to what just happened.
Yep, I'm
Absolutely.
with you. My last one, and we have a couple of courses in town with this, and we've talked about it before, but I will stand by that this is one of the most elite things to have on a golf course. Water coolers with the paper cone cups.
Really?
That shit hits so hard. I will have ice cold water from my home in a water bottle, and I will hit that cooler every single time.
No shit.
Because I think the paper cup enhances it. I don't know what it is, or it's just the crushing of the paper cup after. I could have just shot a 9 on a par 3. I'm thinking of a specific cooler right now. Prairie Wood.
Yep.
After the par 3, you get to the dog leg left par 4. There's a cooler there, and I always get my lunch ate on that par 3. I hit that cooler, new man.
And then being able to crush that cone cup over your head when you're all done.
Yep, you pour a little bit in your hat, maybe throw the hat on if it's a hot day. And guess what else is on? Maybe this might be my favorite hole in all of Fargo because it's got shade. Prairie Woods carts have pretty good cup holders.
They do.
They had a water cooler right there.
What an insane parlay there.
Yeah.
It's something that no one's ever thought that before. I think that was an original thought. No one's ever been like, that's the best hole in Fargo because of these things.
That may be an
that's
original.
That's a minus 500 3-legger for Tyler
for
right
sure.
there.
Yeah.
And he just, I mean, he put a milli down at minus 500.
Hammer it. Lock it in.
What do you got, Noah?
I got one that's a little bit, some people might disagree with it, but I think that subtle background music is not a necessity, but it can help enhance the round a little bit.
Yeah.
No matter what, obviously it's got to be the correct type of music.
Yep.
You got to fit the vibe of the group that you're with. But like, it can kind of take the pressure off the hard shots, and it can kind of bring you back to reality when you hit a shitty shot.
No, you're totally right. Brian and I have talked about this well before you were a thing on the pod. I used to hate music, and now I'm exactly with you. Your take is exactly what I think. Subtle, the right music, not too loud, is great for golf.
I usually don't play music if I play solo.
Yeah.
But with a group of people, even with one other person, definitely have some tunes going. We had like some Blink 182 going this last weekend.
Interesting. Is that too much for golf, you think?
No, because it was like it was the classic meme of like,
where are you?
And so we were just fucking joking around about that, and we were having a great time with it.
What do you think, like universally, like all people, what do you think is the right vibe of playlist to be playing on the golf course?
Yacht rock.
You nailed it.
Nobody in their right mind would dislike it.
Yep.
It might not be your favorite. It's background enough. There's catchy tunes, like you're gonna like. There's sing-alongs, and it's like all of it's like clean. So like you're coming across like a group of like older gentlemen.
Marshall isn't gonna get pissed,
right?
Yep.
I think it's like the perfect mix for every kind of group.
Yeah, you're totally right. I set that question up to get to yacht rock, and you knocked it out of the park. Ryan, do you agree or?
Yeah, no, I honestly I'm pretty indifferent as to what's playing because I like. It's just noise in the background.
For sure.
So I'm not trying to vibe out to the music. I'm more so just vibing out with having some background noise.
So there is one type of music that no matter who I'm golfing with, if they turn it on, I will ask for it to be turned off. And it's only happened to me a couple times. Any sort of EDM or club banger, keep it off the course.
Well, because
it's just not calm. It needs to be at least somewhat calming, or you can't sing along to that music.
Yeah, and EDM music is more so to, you're like, God, how do I say
tripping
this?
off of ecstasy in a
yeah. EDM music's more. It's like the vibe of the music versus like rock or country. It's not the vibe of the music.
Okay, maybe
it is, but I don't know how to verbalize it.
My age might be showing because I think maybe I mean like house music, like the stuff the DJs play at raves. Is that EDM or is it, what do they call it?
Yeah, at rave. Yeah, they play EDM at raves.
Okay, so that type of stuff. I've heard it before. I do not like it. It's like it's fine if I'm partying, but I don't want it on the golf course.
Correct.
You know.
Correct. It's a different type of party on the golf course for sure.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. My last contributor to an enjoyable round of golf is not keeping score.
Yeah.
And I say that because for me it allows me to clear my mind of any shot that I take, any outcome that I have, and it also gives me a chance to just like screw around and experiment with different shots. One of the holes this last weekend, Russ, he hits on average a 50-yard power fade across the entire fairway, and he plays it really well. And he's a member at the course, so it works great for him because he's got no trees to deal with. one of the holes, he's like, I'm going to try and hit a draw here. And it was a drivable par 4, again, playing from the fronts. He hit it a perfect, like, 5-yard draw, 30 yards over the green. And, like, it didn't even matter because, number one, we weren't really keeping score. He was experimenting with hitting a draw because he hits a 50-yard power fade.
So why you had to have hammered him with the why don't you do this every time?
Well, because he said that happens 1 out of every 10 times.
But he was trying to do it and he did it.
I know, but I think like if you try and do it every time, the outcome's going to be completely different. Whereas like for me, like let's say my miss is a snap hook. Like let's say I try and hit like a power fade on a certain hole. Like I may be successful at that because I have no thoughts of how to do that in my head. It's just like, I don't know. It just comes naturally.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I'm not skilled enough to attempt shaping a shot.
But that's the point is like, you don't expect it to be good.
Yeah.
But when it is, you're like,
but even if I said like, you told me like, Tyler, try to hit a fade here, I wouldn't know what to do other than maybe like changing my grip.
Just swing across your body.
I don't know what that means.
Leave your hands open.
Yeah, like to me, leaving my hands open, holding my club like this.
But see, that's why we try.
Yeah,
and like, hey, if you try and hit a fade and you close your hands at the end, and you snap hook one like directly left, you're like, drop another one, try it again.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm with you.
Try it again.
We've talked about this before too. I have a tough time not keeping score because I'm one of the people that doesn't give a shit about their score. So, like, even if I shoot a 55 on 9, it doesn't bother me. I just like to know it.
Sure.
Okay. It doesn't change my mood any, which I think it does change certain people's mood, which is why they enjoy not keeping score.
Yeah.
It never has changed my mood. So,
I think for me, it's just all mental.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell you this. I don't care about my score as much as you guys think I do, unless I have like a personal record round going.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm only on 18 birdies to get my distances, I feel it's just one less thing that's in my mind of like, all right, well, I doubled the last hole, so I hopefully can par this to average out to bogey. That's the type of shit that goes into my head.
Do you know what I want to try before the season's over? I want us to play a round of golf with zero technology.
Just guessing yardages.
Yep, guessing yardages.
Using the
zero, no rangefinder.
Because even if you have the 150 and 100-yard post or like land marker to tell you how far in you are, like let's say you're clearly a yard behind the 100-yard marker, you're still gonna check your phone to see.
To confirm.
And
then it gives you a center and front and back.
Yes. I'm down.
I have a sneaky feeling we'd play pretty good because it's one less thing to think about.
I agree. Because you're like, all right, 145 yards. I need to hit this club, and it's a back pin, so it's probably going to play 150, 152. An 8 might be a little too far. A 9 is a little, like, if I juice a 9, I could maybe, like, all that shit's gone.
Well, do you remember that Dr. Izzy thing, too, about not taking practice putts? You just look at the hole and your body knows the distance.
Yep.
I feel like a little bit of that'll happen too.
Like your hands will just stop before you're like full swing through, because if you take a full swing, it's going to be too long. Or if you like knock down a 9-iron to hit it 130 or whatever, you're just naturally going to do that.
Yeah, or your body just instinctually does the right thing.
Yes.
Because your brain isn't there to stop you with these crazy equations of math you're trying to do.
Let's do it. I'm down.
Okay. Done and done.
That's all I got.
Me too.
Do you have one more, Noah?
Sure. Yeah.
What do you got?
This one kind of goes. It might more be for like just the beginning of the season, but it can really be whenever. When you have like new gear, whether that be like a new sleeve of balls, new box of tees, new golf shoes, you got a new polo. Like
of course.
It's like the whole like look good, feel good,
yeah.
play good. You're out there in a new polo, new golf shoes. You got a sleeve of Pro V1s that you're breaking out. Like, I don't think there's a whole lot that can ruin that round.
No,
See,
God, no.
I might be a weird alternative to this case because when I throw on my best looking shit, I kind of feel like an imposter.
Really?
Because I have really nice clubs. I have really nice golf clothes. They were given to me because I have a golf podcast. They are not, my clothes look and my clubs look like a really good golfer. I am not a really good golfer.
Yeah, but walking into the clubhouse, like, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It kind of makes you feel good that like if like other people around the clubhouse or like walking in with you from the parking lot, they're like, fuck, this guy must be a fucking stick.
Right, but then they see me on the range and they're like, what the fuck?
That's why we don't hit the range.
Yeah, I hit the range.
We don't hit the range.
Before one round, and I was playing so bad, but I looked good. And I had imposter syndrome.
For sure. Yeah, imposter syndrome is definitely a thing. And I feel like a majority of people are imposters. Because like if I look at somebody and I look at what they're wearing, usually I'm like, God, he looks pretty good. Like,
right.
Right. I like that the curve of the brim is perfect.
Yeah.
For the polo and the shorts and shoes that he's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And the hat looks like it fits great. Like, fuck, this guy, he must have it figured out.
Right. Like, and then you watch them and then they don't.
Yeah, and then you hear his voice yelling 4,
yeah.
On hole number 12, and you're like, okay, he's not as good as you think he is.
Because, like, the very best 9 holes I've ever played, I was wearing a T-shirt covered in holes, gym shorts, and my golf shoes. I was dressed to my level, and then I exceeded it.
There's also something about like kind of the opposite of like, you look at very wealthy individuals, like Steve Jobs, for instance. He wore like the same color shirt every day.
Yeah,
and it's like a plain shirt.
Jobs was the black turtleneck constantly.
Yep. One less decision to make throughout the day, and you're like, this guy's wearing a black turtleneck on the golf course. Like, there's no way. I mean,
I guess people do that, like Under Armour, like thermal type stuff. They would wear a turtleneck. I was gonna say a turtleneck on the course is insane.
Yeah, I do think if someone's wearing like an Under Armour, like whatever they call it, the thermals. Yeah, the thermals. If they're wearing one of those under their polos, you're probably a hack.
It better be cold.
Yeah, you're probably a hack.
Yeah.
And let me tell you this, I've definitely wore the thermals underneath the polo before. I am that guy that I just described.
Yep. Yeah,
wrap it up.
That's all I got for you guys.
All right, guys, that's all we got for today. Episode 208. We'll be back next week. I'll be down in Custer, South Dakota this weekend.
Ooh.
What do they call it? The Buffalo Roundup or something, where I think they take like the herd of buffalo in Custer State Park and like herd them up into, I don't know, it should be
count head or something.
Yeah, something like that. It should be kind of fun. Squeeze the semen out of their nuts and then reproduce that way. I don't know.
Insemination.
I'm going to Hot Springs, South Dakota. Hot Springs.
You can jump in a couple?
If they have them.
I hope they do. Otherwise, that's false advertising.
Southern Hills Golf Course. I think it was a recommendation last year when I went to Custer 2 years ago. So yeah, I'll be golfing Southern Hills. It looks like a fucking beautiful course. So give you an update on that next week. See you later.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Love you.